This isn't exactly the ROG Ally 2, but more of an Ally 1.5, because there are some nice updates, but equally, a lot of what you already have and know is back again for round 2. One of the biggest notable changes you can see just by looking at the new Ally X is that this one actually comes in black, so you can tell the difference between the original and the new Ally X. But there are a few other changes here as well. The shape is slightly rounder and it has just slightly deeper handles that ASUS say is more comfortable when playing. The buttons in the stick have been rearranged and those triggers now have a very slight slant to them, making them a bit easier to use. And if you ever had any of those accidental touches on the back of the ROG with those macro buttons, they've now been made just a little bit smaller. I mentioned those joysticks, and they've actually been replaced with more durable ones, and these are rated for 5 million cycles to last year's 2 million. That D-pad has minor improvements as well, and it's now just a little bit more precise. One part of the ROG Ally X that is no different to the original ROG Ally is that display. In fact, it's exactly the same as what we got on last year's. There was a lot of talk before the Ally X that we might see an OLED version of this to match up with things like the Steam Deck, but sadly, we don't get OLED this time. It's still a 7-inch Full HD, 500 nits display, and we have that 120Hz refresh rate. Let's talk about something though that has changed. Battery life is something that we wanted and needed, and now we do get that. Double the battery capacity at 80 watt hours. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get double the amount of playtime, but we're hoping that this can actually translate to that, because all we need is just a bit of better battery life. Even though we get a bigger battery, it only weighs 0.15 pounds heavier than the original, but it doesn't really seem much heavier. There is upgraded thermals though inside of this to accommodate for that new battery, and actually the fans are 23% smaller. It also has 24% better air volume, but essentially what this means according to ASUS, it just runs 6 degrees cooler overall on longer sessions. We also now get some updated RAM as well, so it's now gone to 24 gigabytes. And we also have the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. And overall, what ASUS have said here is that the experience when playing AAA titles is just going to be a little bit smoother than we had on last year's. ASUS said that the Ally X was designed with the user feedback at its heart, so double the storage over the original is now 1 TB, and it's also M.2 2280, which means that it's easily upgradable, and overall it's just a little bit cheaper than the original 2230 if you wanted to upgrade it yourself. One of the biggest requests that people had on the ROG Ally was just better USB ports, and now we do have them because there are 2 of them. And the ROG XG mobile interface has gone, and it's being replaced with 2 Type-C ports, which one of them is still USB 3.2, and the other is a Thunderbolt 4 port, which basically means you can now use your external GPUs. The SD card, if you had any issues on that first one, you shouldn't have it now on the Ally X because it's been improved ever so slightly, so fingers crossed, if you put your SD card in this, it will actually last.